Hello YouTube and Bitcoin fans. Today I'd like to talk about predictions with the mining difficulty and the mining estimations. I prepared a little sheet right here, and we're gonna start off with some facts and the previous difficulties we've had, so we get some basics cleared out of the way. I started in mid of August. The first difficulty I put on the sheet is the one 50.8 million. And first thing we want to look at is how long does it take per difficulty to increase to the next step. This one was roughly 11 days. This one was 10 days. This one was 11 days again. This one was 10 days again. This one was even just 9 days. And this one was 12 days. So why is it important? The first thing we need to make sure that everybody knows and understands is that per difficulty, only 2016 blocks will be mined, meaning that every 2016 blocks, the new difficulty will be calculated. And how does it work? It's not the estimation of a single day or so, or the last 10 blocks, but it looks at the time. This is what I've done here. How long does it take for all 2016 blocks to get mined? So let's just do a little example. Right here, it took 10 days to get from this difficulty to this difficulty, meaning if I'll punch it in the calculator, 10 days, 14 days is standard. This is why we get the 100% or plus 0% is 14 days. So we're going to compare this and see that if we punch in, let's say 14 days is what it should take. It only took 10 days. So we have an increase of plus 40%. If we look at the difficulty increase in here, it's 41.4%. So this is so you understand how it works. Now we're going to take a look at some of the difficulty increases. These ones, in this time scheme, we've had the BFL miners getting released, Avalanche as well. Those were the main ones that got shipped. Some GPU mining with the 7970 or so still going on. Not too profitable though. Now let's continue to right here. You see that from the around 30-ish%, we're coming to 41 and 46% increase. So why is that? Let's look at the time. This one was starting in beginning mid-October. This was the day or the date the KNC miners got shipped. So if we just plug this in here, KNC miners shipped. So as soon as the whole order of the KNC miners got shipped and arrived at the customers, you can see that the increase in percentage decreased again down to roughly 19.3%. This was the last increase from November 5th to November 17th. So now that we've cleared this out of the way, that you understand the percentage increases, why it happens, and the things you have to look at, we're gonna try and predict how the Bitcoin mining will go on. Let's just say in the next couple of months, 2 or 3 months at most. First thing we need to think of is that the last difficulty increase we've had is 19.3%. The next estimation is one website states 670 million difficulty, which would be 11% increase, but I've actually gone a little on a safe side right here and assumed we will still have a 15% increase. And what happens after this? So 50% is okay. We can live with that. Why did I come up with 25? So here's the thing. The November batch of the KNC miners got shipped, as well as things you have to think about is the Sierra miner. It's a 1.2 terahash unit. It started off somewhere around here, and I'm sure it'll continue to get shipped. BFL will continue to ship out devices, and even some other 28 nanometer chips will get dumped on the market. So this is what was important right here. This one was the first 28 nanometer device to be shipped to customers. It's right here. So that's why the increase was so big. The others continued shipping their larger productions, larger architectures. So now down back to the 25%. KNC miners will ship the Novembers. I'm sure it's gonna be not as steep as the 46%, but let's assume we will go up to, I would like to say the next step is probably 35%. So we're on the safe side, and I would at least go on with 30% as a total average after that. That's what we'll have to keep in mind, is changing in devices being shipped, miners being plugged in the wall, configured. So now what do? Next thing that we will have to make sure that is correctly understood is the time it takes, again, for the blocks to be found and the difficulty to increase. So when we're talking about a 15% increase in hash power and difficulty, that means that we're not talking about 14 days, but in this case, I use 12 days. Because what happens if you say 14 days is the standard, 14 days divided by 1.15 for the 15%, we're getting on 12.2 days. So that's why we did a plus 12 days right here. So next one we said is 25%. So what we're going to do is say 14 divided by 1.25. What do we get? We get a 11.2 days. So next step has to be 11 days. So November has 30 days. So 1 day in is 30s. 2 days in is the first. So we can say this will be 2013, December 10th. 10 December days and 1 November day. So, and how about the difficulty? We'll use this number that we've done before, 700.9 times 1.25. So we're coming up to a difficulty of 876.1. 876.1 million. We said 35 increase for the next step. So what do? Take 14 days divided by 1.35 gives us 10.3 days. So we always want to be on the safe side. So we're gonna go with the worst, which is only 10 days at this difficulty. And we're getting 2013, December 20th. Right before Christmas, kind of. So now difficulty 876.1 times 1.35. That gets us over the 1 billion mark as 1182.7 million as a difficulty. We continue. Next step is 30%. 14 divided by 1.3, coming up to 10 days. Let's say this is 11 days again. Sure. makes this 31st. So we end this whole year and coming up with plus 11 days. And difficulty 1182.7 times 1.3. Which means we're at 1.5. I'm going to put it a little further down. 37.5 M right here, which is this difficulty right here. I've gone with the lines a little weird. This was the 15, 25, 35, this one, this, and this one goes to this, so this one goes to this one to this, and this one to this. So, a little weird. Okay, so, again, we got one more to do. I'm gonna say 11 days again. Now we're in 2014, 01, and just 11. It makes it easy. Next one will be 0122. And same here, plus 11 days. And I'll increase the difficulty each time. Now we're gonna do a little quicker. This difficulty will be 1998.7 correction 0.8 million, and the one after that has to be 2598.4 million. Okay, now how many do we have? We have 6 difficulty predictions. Let's do just one more. Next step will be 3,377.9 million. Again, right here we said it's supposed to be plus 30% increase. You never know how many devices get shipped in this time, so we're assuming with the upcoming 28 nanometer devices to be much more released in this time scope, because right here no KNZ miners got shipped and we had the 30% increase. The 28 nanometer chips came out on the market coming up to 46%. It only slowed down because some of the old miners got turned off, but due to the increase in Bitcoin value, it's most likely that some of the older devices got turned on again. So we're still looking at, that's what I said, 30%. I always want to be on the safe side and rather get more out of it than I expected. Now, last thing missing is the date for this one. This is going to be 2014, February. And January got 31 days as well. So we got 8 days is 30, 9 days is 31, 9 days, and we're going to be on 02. Plus 11 days. So now let's call this done. What happens next? Now that we got the predictions of the Bitcoin difficulties for each time scope, we want to look at how many Bitcoins can we get with a device that, let's say, has I'm gonna go with 1 terahash, as it's a simple number. You can multiply, let's say your device only has 600 gigahash, you multiply the whole results by 0.6 and you get what your device would do. But 1 terahash is a standard number, so we're gonna work with that. And here's the big disclaimer: I do not suggest doing Bitcoin mining, as it could result in losing pretty much all the money you put into it, and I do not recommend it. However, if you really want to do it, make sure that you have a good and solid prediction, that you know how it works, that you understand each steps that are involved in the Bitcoin mining and the difficulty increases and the hash powers. So now let's assume for this first date. So let's say we start off with the next step, which will begin on 29th. So 1129 is the start. So to make it clear, if we go down 11 days right here, it's plus 11 days. We will end up on December 10th, which means we have mined for 11 days at 700.9 M difficulty with 1 terahash. And here's gonna, well, I'll have to do a little break. All right, here's the website I'm using. It's called Alloscomp. And what I'm doing right here is I said we will have a Bitcoin difficulty of 700 million. So that means 709 and 5 zeros. And we will be mining at 1 terahash. And I'm gonna remove the Bitcoin value because it's not gonna interest me. So I'll just copy the numbers off the iPad and we'll see how that came up. So now don't just copy the per month or anything else. We want to look at how many Bitcoins we get per day. So in this case, 0717 51536 times 11 days, coming up on a total of 7.89, what's it, 266 Bitcoins. So next step will end on December 20th. It's 10 days at 876.1 million. It's going to be for the days and will result in, next number is 0.57402867 times 10 days. Of course, it was easy. Yeah, I could have just copied that. So 57402, I'll just round it, Bitcoins for 10 days. Okay, I've done a little work. The camera has turned off itself. This should come up to a total of 26.805033 Bitcoins. Again, sorry, little fail on the camera. Thing is, it got cut off around here. So, just a quick summary. We did start on November 29th with Bitcoin mining, which was difficulty begin for 700.9 million. We are mining with 1 terahash. So what were we getting? For 11 days of mining at this difficulty, we get 7.89. For 10 days at 876, we get 5.74 Bitcoins. And so on. You can see the numbers right here. And this meaning at 65 days mining with 1 terahash, we will be getting 26.8 Bitcoins. Now, depending if you get a good pool, you get a little more. If you get a bad pool, you get a little less. What's important as well, if we're using 1 terahash, assuming it uses 1000 watts, which is 1 kilowatt per hour, which is 24 kilowatt hours per day, resulting 65 days times 24 is 1560 kilowatt hours, which will mean you have to pay in Germany at, depending on what area you are, this is kilowatt hour, euros, 1.36 times 0.249 is 0.3386 US dollars per kilowatt hour. So this is what you have to keep in mind. These expenses is what you have to do. And here's how many Bitcoins you will get out of this. Now, this is just an estimation to show you what you have to keep in mind, what you have to think about, how you should be doing it. It's not 14 days if the difficulty is rising. If the difficulty would stay the same, it will be mining at 14 days. But since we're looking at increases from anywhere 19%, 15%, 46%, the 14 days will get dramatically decreased. Let's say if it would have a difficulty increase of 100%, we'd only have 7 days at one difficulty. And this means 7 days less than 14 days for a higher mining yield. Always keep this in mind. Never calculate with 14 days or even 1 month with one difficulty. This doesn't work. This is the way you should be looking at it. And do your own estimation, your own prediction. Write it down yourself so you understand how it works. I just try to show you how it's done, how it should be done, what you have to think about, what you have to look at. Make sure you know what miners will be released and when they will be released. And thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. I appreciate your feedback and if you subscribe to my channel as well. Thank you.